It is that time of year again. Playoff basketball in the NBA is finally here. David Huffman, Dan Kenny, TJ Hopkins. We all put together a bracket where we break down the different matchups in the playoffs. And so we're going to compete against each other and a couple of my friends back home to see who comes up with the best bracket. So how do you guys feel about your bracket? Let's talk about the first round matchups. Your biggest upset that you have in the first round, if you even have one.
I don't think I have one. I really don't. Like I have all the top seeds winning their first round matchup.
So it's 1 through 4, both sides on your bracket.
Pretty much.
Okay.
I mean, I think.
Wait,
like,
so
in the West, I have
that infers that the Clippers are beating the Spurs in your bracket. Is that correct?
No, I was just about to say I have the Spurs beating the Clippers 4-2. I do have the Clippers getting 2 wins.
The funny thing is, the Clippers are ranked higher than the Spurs, but
the Spurs are just...
The Spurs, I think, are the favorite. According to Sports Nation, 60% of voters chose the Spurs over the Clippers.
Smart people.
They're the defending champs, and honestly, if the Clippers do beat the Spurs, I consider that an upset. Certainly, especially
I would as well, because they're the defending champs, and the Clippers are... I don't know. They've been bounced early in they have a lot of hype, a lot of seasons, and then they always kind of get bounced a little bit.
It's always true. And it seems like they always get bounced by the Spurs. It's either Memphis or the Spurs that are bouncing the Clippers out of the playoffs.
Last year, wasn't it the Warriors or
no, it was.
Was it the Spurs?
It was either them or Memphis.
OKC. It was OKC.
OKC, yeah.
Yeah.
The Clippers, they got a lot of talent, but they're not really a playoff built team necessarily, but we're going to see this year if anything's different. The
problem with the Clippers is that they got the DeAndre Jordan is so woeful from the free throw line. But at times of the game you can't even really put him in because you're so concerned about his free throw shooting, especially with Pop, where he's notorious for using that hack of Shaq. I know he used it against Shaq when he was on the Suns, and and then the next season he had the thumbs up the picture. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. Yeah. It's real funny.
Yeah. I imagine Popovich implementing that technique, hacking Jordan or whatever. But I feel like he's gonna crash and burn on that, at least in one game. Yeah, it might win the Spurs game, but I do feel Jordan can hit his free throws. At least in one game, he'll shoot from an okay percentage.
I think if he starts to miss, he could just steamroll on him. But I don't know.
Yeah, but in terms of upsets in the bracket, I actually have the Clippers beating the Spurs in 7. I honestly believe the Spurs' time is dwindling down.
This is the last run. I think this is
the last one. I think this is it.
I've been waiting for 4 years for the Spurs to crumble, and I feel this year they haven't crumbled yet. This is the year that they fall.
But how often do we hear that this is the year? This is the year. This is the year they're done.
All the time, I guess.
every year it's
Tim Duncan's 39 years old and he's playing better than half the young big men in the league right now.
The ageless wonder.
Legit. He's like fine wine. He gets better with age.
But Ginobili is very decrepit. He is a skeleton, a shell of his former self.
But when you need him, he's there.
Sometimes, not all the time.
When you need him, he's there.
He's not that reliable. Sometimes he'll show up and sometimes he won't. But yeah, he's a playoff type of player, so maybe he will come to life in the playoffs. And Tony Parker just doesn't seem the same this year.
He's been better recently since he actually is healthy now.
He has.
He was injured a lot in the beginning of the season, and now that he's healthy, he has been playing considerably well, much better. And he's the straw that stirs the drink that is the San Antonio Spurs. And without Tony Parker, they're nothing. Without him.
That's true, but Kawhi Leonard is a dog, and he could be also an X factor.
Yeah,
he's the future.
He's one of the few future points.
He's the future.
Very few future points. I like Baines as a center.
He's
big and he's aggressive.
I don't think he's gonna get any better than what he is now. He's gonna be a nice role player on maybe a championship team, but I don't think he's a cornerstone you could build a team around.
No, I concur. I certainly agree with that. But yeah, I actually feel the Clippers can overcome the Spurs just through J.J. Redick's hot shooting, Jamal Crawford, hopefully he's healthy, and Chris Paul's leadership, playmaking ability. Hopefully Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan have strong series as well. In other upset news, I don't really have any. I have Memphis beating Portland.
I don't.
I got the Blazers beating Memphis.
Well, yeah, I have Memphis beating Portland.
Yeah, I saw your channel.
I got the Blazers beating Memphis.
The Blazers aren't that healthy though.
I think they're gonna have Batum back. They'll probably have Aaron follow back tonight.
Is the follow come back tonight?
I'm fairly certain that he's gonna
Conley's
be
back tonight.
Conley is.
Conley's back.
And I think Marcus Aldridge creates matchup problems for Memphis. I don't know. Who can guard him really.
What you mean? Who can guard?
He can take people off the dribble. Like he's. I think he's a hard matchup for Memphis.
I think he's a hard matchup for anyone, but I feel Memphis is the most physical team in the NBA, and if anyone can stifle damn near any player in the league, it's kind of Memphis and their physical prowess.
They don't have Zach Randolph's not going to be going out there and guarding Marcus Aldridge out at the wing. Like he can't really. He's not at that point in his career where he can do that consistently over an entire series.
We're about to find out actually, because I'm not sold that he can or he can't.
I mean, all he has to do is keep him on the left side of the floor because LaMarcus Aldridge just constantly posts up on the left block. So it's not we're gonna see him on the other side of the block. So he's just gonna be playing him on one side of the court.
LaMarcus Aldridge is a more talented player than Zach Randolph. Certainly,
certainly.
Yeah, at this point, it's not even close.
Okay,
but Zach Randolph somehow gets the best out of players when he matches up against them. He's done it his whole career. He's a very physical player, and
he's that itch that you get in your middle of your back that you just can't reach. That you want to scratch it extra bad, but you can't reach it. That's Zach Randolph.
He's been doing it for 8 years now.
I would call Zach Randolph an inch I can't get rid of. That sounds.
But you know what you're going to get out of Zach Randolph in terms of
you're going to get 15 points, 10 rebounds. He's going to get you a steal, maybe a block.
And if you throw, let's say, Tony Allen on Lillard, let's say you throw, let's say Lillard's having a hot game, you throw Tony Allen, he could shut down Lillard.
But the X Factor.
I just feel like I feel like
that's my X Factor.
I feel like the Blazers have enough offense to overcome how good Memphis is on defense, and I think they have enough players who can score. Because they have a lot of players.
Jeff Green. The X Factor for Memphis is Jeff Green.
I think he's going to be neutralized by Nicholas Batum. I think Nicholas Batum is a better player.
What?
What? I think Nicholas Batum is by far a better player than Jeff Green.
Okay, I won't say by far. I think they're actually very similar. They're very close, evenly matched. I wouldn't put one head and shoulders above the other.
I think Nicholas Batum is a better player. I think he's a better defender. I think he's a
Jeff Green's a good defender.
I think he's a better team player.
Former Hoya.
Nicholas Batum is a better player.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is, dude. Yes, he is, dude.
Jeff Green's more seasoned.
Okay, why? Because he played with Kevin Durant for a couple seasons.
No,
and then he went and rotted in Boston for 3 years. What? More seasons based on what?
Experience, ability, playoff experience.
Has he played in a playoff game? Was he? When did he play in a playoff?
With Oklahoma City.
I think he was traded before they went to the playoffs.
No, he certainly played when Oklahoma City used to be a perennial 7th and 8th seed.
It's like when LA was ruling the West.
Maybe.
No, he was.
Because they had a couple seasons where they were not very good, and he was there when they were not good.
Yeah, when they were first starting off, he was one of the original 3 cornerstones. Durant and Westbrook.
Yes, I understand.
That was the squad. And then they eventually snuck in the playoffs, and they've been there ever since, up until this year. But my point being, Nicholas Batum and Jeff Green, that's a very tight matchup. Nicholas Batum, I would not say, is head and shoulders above Jeff Green. I feel like there will be games where Jeff Green shuts down Batum, and they'll flip-flop. Batum can shut down Jeff Green and
Nicholas Batum has more intangibles to his game that's better for a team. I think he's a little bit better defender. I think he's a better passer. I think he can shoot the 3 a little bit better. I like Nicholas Batum's overall game over Jeff Green's.
I think you're overlooking Memphis.
No, I'm not.
Which everyone does. You're falling for it.
I have it going 7 games. I'm not overlooking them. I just think I think the Blazers and I think Damian Lillard is ridiculously clutch. I think he'll hit the big shots in the big moments when his team really needs
him.
We'll
see if Tony Allen's breathing in his face if he can hit those shots.
I think they're gonna have to put somebody on Aaron Aflalo, Batum. I think they have a bunch of guys. They have a bunch of guys, and then they have Myers Leonard to come off the bench and who can threes now.
Myers Leonard can hit threes.
Yeah. He's been hitting 3s since he started.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And they got CJ McCollum, who's a nice bench player who can come in and score.
Well, actually.
Yeah. They got Alfonso G, who can come in and defend people.
Alfonso G's a joke.
He is a joke.
He can defend.
I will not take him seriously. He's not a player that I will put on my scouting report.
When LeBron James was in Cleveland, he was considered one of the guys that was going to be there for LeBron.
Oh.
Wow. LeBron's coming home. Who's gonna be a teammate? Alonzo G.
No, Alonzo
Alonzo G.
Alonzo G was already gone by then.
Wow.
Okay, we've talked too much. We've wasted too much time talking about Alonzo G. So let's move on. This is gonna be a tight matchup. I have Memphis taking it in 7.
I got the Blazers in 7.
I got Memphis in 6.
Okay, let's shift our attention towards these. It seems like we're all very, when I peek over at your brackets, we're all pretty close. We're pretty similar. We got the same idea.
I got the Wiz in 7.
I got Toronto in 7.
I think the Wizards have the best player in that series, and I think that will take them to the next level. Because in playoff series, the team with the best player usually advances.
Usually.
In most cases.
Sometimes the better team advances.
But Washington, I feel like this is the reason they brought Paul Pierce to their team.
I agree.
Oh yeah, I would agree too.
Because he has that killer instinct that so few players have.
It seems like that John Wall and Bradley Beal lack so far.
Exactly. They don't have it. It's like they have it, but they don't have it.
It's not consistent.
It's not consistent.
But I think John Wall is the reason that they're going to win that series. I think John Wall is like. I think he's.
Dave, do the Wizards take the next step?
I think they do.
I am looking forward to a John Wall, Kyle Lowry.
I think John Wall's a better player than Kyle Lowry.
Ooh. Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not close, but I think John Wall's a little bit better of a player.
I'm fighting words, right?
Yeah.
Wait. I think John Wall is a better player than Kyle Lowry. I mean, what?
Well, I agree with you, former Wildcat. And I
would agree with that.
Kyle Lowry, though, is a very physical point guard. He's well built. He's more of a heavier set, which could poise a matchup. Let's say if he decides to bring in the post for whatever reason from a point guard. I know it sounds rare, but but Wall's more explosive. But Lowry's just got some certain swagger that.
And I don't really. I mean, besides Lou Williams, who's Toronto really have that comes off their bench that actually scores? I mean, Patrick Patterson, maybe.
T. Ross.
Terrence Ross starts.
Does he start? Oh,
him and DeRozan start.
Oh, because he starts at the 3, right?
Yeah. Like I know.
Amir Johnson.
He starts.
Oh, he does.
But, I mean, they switch off with Hansbrough on him, but I don't know. Either way, Amir Johnson.
They get production out of James Johnson.
I think
sometimes, but he's got his crazy hair going on right now.
I think it's going to be like a key matchup in this series is going to be Jonas Valanciunas and Martin Gortat. I think they're going to go at it because Gortat's tough.
I think Dene is going to guard him, but
really, Gortat lines up at center,
and especially if those two guys get under Valanciunas' skin, like if they irritate him enough, they're going to throw him off.
He gets in foul trouble. Like a lot too,
and he gets mad. Like
he's a skilled, angry Lithuanian.
But I think Nene will be guarding him a lot of the time because I think they use. I think Nene is a better defender. He's longer, lengthier, so I think he will be on.
And they're both physical players, Gortat and Nene.
Yeah,
I'm speaking of. So honestly, I think if they neutralize Jonas, I think the Wizards can take the series, and I actually have the Wizards taking that.
For me, I think it's all about John Wall. I think John Wall's a better player than anyone on the Raptors, and I think that's how you win playoff series.
Don't sleep on DeRozan. He can straight up
Ross.
light up. I will sleep on Terrence Ross because he is not consistent at all.
He can have monster games one night and then nothing the night after.
For the next couple nights after.
Yeah,
Terrence Ross, I'm calling right now. He'll have one huge game where he'll probably score over 28 points, and the rest of the games he's going to kind of be dismal performances. I'm talking less than 12 each outing after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
and then the rest of the series I kind of have chalk. I have the Hawks beating Brooklyn in 7. I think
you have that going 7.
7?
Yeah, I think Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez has been playing really good lately. He has been. You look at his stats.
I know Brook
and
Lopez.
I think Brooklyn has playoff players. Like they got a Joe Johnson who can make big shots in big moments in playoff series, and they have a Darren Williams who's a skilled player. And they have all these guys. I mean, they had the highest payroll in the league. I mean,
and what happened?
What's money?
What?
What happened?
They're still in the playoffs. I mean, what? What do you want? I don't know, but I think that they're gonna find a way to like scratch and claw and get a couple games
against the best team in the East. A team that won 8 more games than the second best team in the conference.
They're on the down. They haven't been as hot as they were at the beginning of the season.
I can't explain why Atlanta's so good, but they have certain camaraderie that, like Jeff Teague, Al Horford, Millsap, they all love each other. They play at a high level.
Horford.
But that style of basketball doesn't always win a lot of games in the series in playoff
Tell
series.
San Antonio that.
Please tell them that.
They have Hall of Famers on their roster.
Yeah, but are they playing at a Hall of Fame level right now? No.
Tim Duncan's probably still playing at Hall of Fame level. Tony Parker's probably still playing at Hall of Fame level.
Duncan's averaging 15 and 7.
He's still a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, yes, that not denying that. Obviously, his resume and repertoire from years past means he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. But right now, he's not playing at a Hall of Fame level. Let's make that clear.
Okay.
15 and 7.
Tony Parker probably still playing at Hall of Fame level.
Hall of Fame level. What's Hall of Fame level to you, Dave?
I don't know.
Because a Hall of Fame level to me is not averaging 18 points and 7 assists. That's shit. There's
But when you
Williams could do.
But when you watch Tony Parker, you're like, okay, yeah, Tony Parker's good. Like, you know.
Yeah, I can say that about a lot of players. I can say that about Jeff Teague. I can say that about Dennis Schroeder.
I think that series will go. I think that series will go 7 games. I think Atlanta's a better team. It wouldn't surprise me if I think every game will be close, and I think it wouldn't surprise me if they did sweep. But I don't think it's going to be a wash. I don't think Atlanta's just going to walk all over Brooklyn. I think Brooklyn they have a lot of pride, and they want to win a lot, and they have a good coach.
I like Markel Brown on Brooklyn. I feel like he's an elite, or not an elite defender, but he's up and coming rookie. I like what he brings to the table, but I think Atlanta's sweeping this series. I don't think Brooklyn's got the makeup.
It wouldn't surprise me if it wouldn't surprise me if it was a sweep, but I think they're gonna fight. I think they're gonna show like because they're probably gonna get broken up after this season. They're probably gonna trade away D. Will. I mean, they're gonna find a way to get rid of some of these guys that they have all this money to. Like maybe Joe Johnson. Is Joe Johnson? I think he's going into the final year of that ridiculous contract now.
Thaddeus Young, too.
Yeah, I mean they got some really nice players on Brooklyn. They got like their starting five is solid. Like if you look at the starting five of the Brooklyn Nets, you're like, okay, yeah, they got some ballers. They got Joe Johnson, they got Darren Williams, they got Thad Young, they got Brook Lopez. Like that's a pretty good starting five.
And then they have a couple young players I like Plumlee, Bojanovic, Markel Brown. Like I said, I like Brooklyn, but I don't think they're any match for Atlanta.
You look mad. You're mad. You look really pissed off.
You have this series going 7.
Yeah. And then I got Bulls, Cavs. I have them both taking care of business in 5. I just think Milwaukee. I feel like those games, even the games in Milwaukee, will be home games for the Bulls. Yeah, because it's not far of a drive to go from Chicago to Milwaukee, and Bull fans travel like anywhere we go, anywhere. There are always like these tons of Bull fans at the games.
I actually had the same thing. I agree with you. 4-1 in Chicago and Cleveland, both taking those series. My question for you is, who's more likely to win more games in the series, Milwaukee against Chicago or Boston versus Cleveland?
Boston against Cleveland? I agree. I think Milwaukee.
I
think Milwaukee.
I have Boston getting swept. Like no disrespect to Brad Stevens and that team, he's done a phenomenal job. He really has. He's done a phenomenal job, but that team has nowhere near the firepower to get one.
They can get one.
I think they can get one. I think they'll defend well enough to get one game. And I don't think the Cavaliers are going to shoot the ball. They're going to have one night where they shoot the ball. They don't shoot it as well as they have been.
Okay, when Cleveland wins against Boston, it's going to be a blowout. But when Boston plays them tight, I feel like they can sneak one by Cleveland.
The problem with Milwaukee is because of how close they are to Chicago. I feel like they're just going to be playing road games every night. Because who's going to go to see the Milwaukee Bucks get curb stomped if you're a Milwaukee Bucks fan?
Serious Milwaukee Bucks fans?
Are there a lot of? They were talking about moving the team. Are there a lot of?
Well, David, we stay in northern Illinois, and there are Milwaukee Bucks fans here that are originate from Wisconsin, and I can only imagine that there's a ton more. I'm
sure there are fans of the Bucks. I'm sure there are fans of the Bucks.
They got some talents and some promise.
Oh yeah. I feel like they have. Arguably, I think the Greek Freak is going to be one of the next.
Oh, I know
you're
very high on him.
I feel like he's going to be one of the next big things in the NBA, along with Anthony Davis.
The thing is, they can't score with this roster that they have now.
Oh yeah, I know. But they're going to be. They're going to defend because they have a lot of length. They have length everywhere. Like they have.
I agree.
They got Giannis. They got Michael Carter Williams, John Henson. They're superior.
Zaza, Pachulia.
Not this year, but in the next upcoming, Milwaukee's going to be a team.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about Jabari Parker.
No, it's all about the Greek Freak.
It's like,
I'd rather have if I was building if you were building a franchise, Jabari Parker or the Greek Freak.
Well, I haven't seen enough of Jabari Parker in the professional level.
But
I'm not willing to make.
But if
I'm taking the Greek Freak. I think the Greek Freak is going to be ridiculous.
That doesn't surprise me that you're taking the Greek Freak.
If Park is healthy and on this team, they are not a 6 seed. I don't think.
No, they are.
I don't think so.
Who are they going to jump?
So they can jump Washington and Toronto.
No, dude, no.
On what time?
They could jump Washington and Toronto. They could be a top 4 seed.
How long does MCW? How long is his contract?
MCW. He's got 3 years left on it.
So he's going to be in Milwaukee for a while,
and he's restricted after that season. So I mean, he's arguably probably going to be there for the next 6 years.
Poor guy.
Probably.
Trade him. Okay. Yeah, I just don't really like him as a fit in Milwaukee. But anywho, let's stick to the bracket.
Jason Kidd does.
So I have Atlanta, Washington, Chicago, Cleveland for my East. I guess Elite 8, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
And then Golden State Warriors against Memphis, and then Clippers against Houston.
I have Warriors, Blazers, and I have Spurs, Rockets.
I have Atlanta, Toronto, Cleveland, Chicago, Spurs, Houston, Memphis, Golden State in the next round.
Okay, from this Elite 8 matchup, what stands out on your bracket?
I got the Wizards beating the Hawks in 7 games.
That's a bold move, but I like it.
It's different. I have Atlanta beating Toronto in 6. I have them. I think Toronto can squeak out 2 against that team.
My pick of the Wizards lays on the shoulders of John Wall, and that reason only.
You're really investing a lot in John Wall. You expect a lot out of him, don't you?
Yeah, I think he's a top 5 point guard probably in the league right now, and in that series against the Hawks, he's the best player out of all 26 players that are going to be playing in that playoff series. He's probably the best player.
Okay, I mean, sure,
probably,
yeah. Paul Millsap's pretty good. He's very underrated.
He's not as good as John Wall.
Okay, I guess I agree with you, but it's close.
Okay, I'll give you that. And I think Paul Pierce, like, they brought Paul Pierce here because they want to take the next level. They want to make that jump. And I think Bradley Beal's finally healthy. And
it'll be interesting to see if Otto Porter actually shows up.
Yeah, when he's not caught sleeping.
Yeah, I mean, if he shows up, like, Washington could be a dangerous team. The same with Paul Pierce if he plays like
Paul Pierce.
If he's
like
Paul Pierce. If he's Paul Pierce.
If he's the truth.
Yeah. Then you know that they could beat Atlanta, possibly. But I just think Atlanta's ball movement, their offense is just too
that system.
I think when you play,
that's the key word.
But the thing is, when you play a team the same night after night after night after night, like you're not like you don't, and you also rest. You get a couple days rest in between each game. You can kind of like hone in to like something that they do, and you can like find a way. You can find a way to out coach your opponent and like figure out a way to stop like all their ball movement. Like, you can pick something out, like because you're playing them the same night, like night after night. So you get to see trends in their offense, and you get to like plan based on every single night because you're playing the same team night after night.
The key
so like that's why the playoff.
It's all speculation at the end of the day.
Okay.
But will they do it? That's the key question. Do you think they have the mental makeup in order to capitalize and beat the best team in the East, which is
I think they can do it. I think they can. I think John Wall's good enough. I think they're overall starting.
They're good enough, but will they actually execute?
I think they will. I believe in John Wall and I believe in the Wizards. I thought they were going to be. I thought they'd make a jump during the regular season, but they seemed to hit a lull where they just kind of flatlined.
Oh my God! Did they ever?
But I think
right
I think when you especially in the NBA play, I think talent wins out, and I think the Wizards roster is more talented than the Hawks from top to bottom. I think the Bradley Beal is better than whoever the Hawks started the 2. I don't know who it is.
Korver.
Yeah, I think he's a better player than Kyle Korver today. Maybe not but
yeah. I mean, I definitely see a lot of matchup problems in this. I guess key matchup between the two teams. Bradley Beal. Someone's got to stick on Korver. Someone's got to throw the perimeter.
He has to get zero breathing room.
And then Paul Millsap can stretch out to the 3-point line, and that means Nene or Gortat have to follow him over there.
I think Nene can do it.
And then he's got.
Or you could just. I don't know.
Al Horford has a lot of range
he
too.
can't. If your matchup happens, Gortat and they can't sag off Millsap or Horford because of their ability to shoot.
Even if they don't sag off, even if they play tight, Horford could drill it in his face.
Like, yeah, Horford's a really good player.
Yeah.
I guess that's what he does.
I think he's the best player on their team, to be honest.
I think it's close between him and Jeff Teague, but
yeah, Jeff Teague can ball. And DeMarre Carroll is the X factor. He's a dog. He's a real dog.
Man, if they had Tabo, man.
Oh, if they had Tabo, this is.
I think the series would be. I think they would beat Wizards easily if they had Tabo. I think you could throw Tabo on John Wall.
You put Tabo on John Wall, and he's.
So that completely changes your bracket if they have one player.
Yeah.
Thabo Cephalosha.
He's their best defender.
He's their best defender.
He's their best on-ball defender.
His PER was something ridiculous. Like, his player efficiency rating was something like... His real plus-minus was something crazy, too. Like, I think he had the highest real plus-minus on the team before he got injured.
He's a nice player, but it's Thabo Cephalosha. He's one player that can do one thing right, and that's guard players. He's no Tony Allen.
Oh, dude,
I'd rather have
his defensive prowess is up there with Tony Allen.
He ain't no Tony Allen.
Thabo Cephalosha was called the D-Wade stopper when he was in Chicago. Like,
literally.
When was he in Chicago, though? Like 6 years ago?
A while. It's been a
7
while.
years ago,
but
maybe?
he's still an elite defender. When you think of elite shooting guard, like defenders at the shooting guard, Thabo Cephalosha's name always comes up.
I think Tony Allen's comes up even quicker.
Because he's a starter. He plays a lot more minutes.
Yeah, Cephalosha used to be a starter, too.
Yeah, but he started for OKC, but it really didn't, James Harden was the starter. He played starters minutes.
He played starters.
And Tony Allen comes off the bench, too, so I'm trying to say start Cornelia ahead of him.
Yeah.
Depending on who they're playing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay, well,
and Tony Allen has a ring. And Tony Allen has a ring, too, so, he's, like, any argument about, Tony Allen has a ring, so, like, he's automatically one heads up on Thabo.
Yeah, and it's just kind of, like, he's just a very physical player. Like, I'm not taking nothing away from Thabo, but Tony Allen's a junkyard dog. All right, so
in the West, I have San Antonio playing Houston. I have that one going 3 because I think
3.
7. I have San Antonio beating Houston in 7 in the next round.
I actually have Houston upsetting, or not upsetting, but beating the Clippers 4-2. I think Clippers are going to play tight in every single game, but it just seems like they always lose in 6. When they do lose, they lose in 6.
I have the Spurs beating the Rockets in 6. I actually have the Clippers giving the Spurs the best run for their money in this playoff series.
Really?
Yeah. So I have the Spurs beating the Clippers in 7, and every other series I have going 6 with them.
Wow.
And then you have the Spurs advancing past Houston. Do you think I actually have Houston and Dallas going 7? I think that's kind of odd.
I have that one going 6.
I gotta go in 6. I think all the playoff series in the West are gonna be close besides the Warriors and the Pelicans. I mean, no offense to Anthony Davis and the Pelicans.
Tyreek Evans is playing very well at the point guard position. Since he's been moved to the point guard position, he's been getting 8 assists. That's a lot. That's a lot of assists.
Golden State is a better team from top to bottom.
Obviously, it's a 1-8 seed.
And if Steph Curry,
don't get me wrong.
And if Steph Curry gets hot, he could bury them in one quarter.
Don't get me wrong.
It's just like Steph Curry.
Don't get me wrong.
Tell me about it. I have Golden State winning it all. I just think the Pelicans can bring it.
Don't get me wrong.
I think they'll get one. I think Anthony Davis will will them to one win.
One.
I think Anthony Davis will single-handedly will them to one game.
Don't get me wrong.
Golden State is better, and Golden State will win this series easily.
There is no player on Golden State that's going to stop Anthony Davis from doing what he does. None of their big men can stop him from doing what he does.
Dave Lee's going to miss tonight's game.
It's pretty much like Anthony Davis is going to be Anthony Davis. He's going to get his.
He might get a quad.
Golden State is going to make every other player that's not named Anthony Davis beat them. That's what they're gonna. That's essentially what they're gonna do.
Well, Tyreek Evans and Eric Gordon, they can play pretty well.
Anthony Davis might average over 30 points a game in this series.
And the Sheik, he's a physical player.
It's pretty much that's pretty much what they're gonna do. Anthony, that's exactly what Steve Kerr's gonna say. Davis is gonna get his. He's gonna get his. There's nothing you can do about that. He's gonna get his. Make everybody else beat you.
This is what's gonna happen. Yeah, the Pelicans are going to lose, but this is going to be a real stepping stone towards their future.
Oh, yeah.
Getting experience.
Just getting into the playoffs.
Yeah, look at these other 8 or 7 seeds. Look at Atlanta last year. They were an 8 seed.
And 1.
Yeah, now they're a 1 the following year. I feel like the Pelicans can learn a lot from this series, this they're going to lose in this series. They're not going to beat the Warriors, but they're going to gain some valuable experience, which could propel them to the next level in years to come.
You can make the same argument for maybe Milwaukee and Boston, too.
Yeah.
Especially Milwaukee, because of how many young players they have on that roster. And if they're going to be getting back Jabari Parker next year.
What's the average age of Milwaukee? Like,
I
don't think they have anyone that's over 28. Maybe
No,
Zaza.
Pachulia.
I think
Or
Zaza.
San Ilyasova might be getting up there, too.
Those two might be the oldest players on that team.
They have some old
And
players.
I don't think I don't even think they're 30 years old yet. Zaza might be. He might be the only one
Zaza
that's over 30.
Zaza might be 38 years old. Zaza's been in the league forever.
I don't think he's 38.
He's got a lot of back act. If you look at Zaza Pachulia, you'll notice he's got like a lot of like whiteheads on his.
I don't want to know how
shoulders.
you know that.
Just an
I don't know.
observation.
I don't know why you looking that close.
All right, so then I
I'm
have
not looking. I
and then I have the Warriors beating the Blazers in 7 games.
I have the Warriors beating Memphis in 6 games.
Yeah, and actually I have Warriors Memphis 7 games. I wanted to go Memphis, but I have Golden State winning it all, so I'm having Golden State top Memphis. It's gonna be a physical matchup, a physical series.
Yeah, I struggled with this one because I love the Blazers so much.
You love LaMarcus.
I do love LaMarcus Aldridge, but I do love the Blazers a lot. I love that team. The way they play and like their fans, I think they're excellent. Their home court advantage is probably a top 5 home court advantage in the league to play at the Rose Garden. Like their fans come out and they're loud, and it's a good place to play.
I feel like Golden State is actually probably has the best home court advantage.
I would have to agree with you.
But it's a whole nother.
But I think the Rose Garden is.
It gets pretty loud in Atlanta. It is, especially this season. It's pretty loud.
It gets loud in Atlanta when their fans show up, But like the Portland fans, they show up no matter what. Like they're always there. Like even when the team's bad, like Portland was always a tough place to play.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
And I can see LaMarcus Aldridge giving the Golden State matchup problems. I don't know if they have anyone that can really guard him. I mean, Draymond Green maybe.
Yeah, that would be the case if they actually advance to the second round and face Golden State. But that's fantasy land.
And I think Damian Lillard, Steph Curry is kind of a wash. Could be.
Wow.
You're talking about the MVP, the probable MVP.
Because I have Harden winning MVP.
Yeah, I like. No, I got Steph Curry now winning MVP.
If Dave shifted to Steph,
Yeah,
it's the real deal.
You really think
he's the best player on the best team,
No,
offensive and defensive team. It's the first time it's ever been done since the '96 Bulls.
Okay, we're gonna talk about that. That's another type.
All right, we'll talk about that after this.
You think Lillard can hang with Steph Curry?
Yeah, dude, I think
Lillard plays questionable defense, and Steph Curry makes great guards.
I think. Not to mention, I think Batum's probably gonna be guarding Curry a lot of
the
games.
Guards Clay.
Exactly.
They'll put a follow on him. He's a good defender.
No.
He's a good defender. He's a good player. Aaron Follow's a good defender.
No. See, this is why they miss.
He's a good defender. I'll give you that.
This is why they miss Wes Matthews.
Oh yeah, of course. If they had Wesley Matthews, they wouldn't have half these problems. But the fact of the matter, they don't have him, and they're not going to have him.
And Aaron Follow is not going to check Klay Thompson.
Dude, I think Aaron Follow can.
No, he can't.
I mean, maybe not keep him totally in check. I mean, Klay Thompson's going to score, obviously, but I think Aaron Follow can do a serviceable job on Klay Thompson.
He's not. There's no way.
They could bring Alonzo G off the bench.
Stop it. Stop bringing him up.
We're losing viewers every time you bring up Alonzo G. I can't even say it.
It's insulting.
Okay, let's propel.
I have Chicago and Cleveland going 7, but I have Cleveland winning, and it hurts me to say that because my heart wants me to pick Chicago over Cleveland. My heart really does, but I can't see us beating.
Chicago's got some fresh legs on certain players, such as hopefully, I assume Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah. Hopefully, will have some fresh legs. Pau Gasol, I feel, will absolutely dominate Kevin Love, and
until they throw Mozgov. I don't know what it is about Gasol. He always struggles against those bigger physical big men.
Yeah, but then Joakim Noah will. What then? Love would cover Noah, and I feel like
cover Noah,
and I feel like Noah could beat up on Love. Maybe not even necessarily score, but distribute the ball and find the open man if he doesn't just take it up straight up and score on him. And I feel like the Bulls just know how to beat LeBron. Jimmy Butler is a tough player, and he can lock down LeBron. We've seen him do it.
We've seen him do it.
The Bulls have never beaten LeBron in a playoff series.
Is that a fact?
Yes,
It is a fact. I mean, like we've either not had the firepower to, or LeBron goes to Miami and teams up with two other.
I just feel like the Cavaliers, as currently constructed, have a better team than the Bulls.
That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win.
And I think they have the best player on the planet, and
They do.
And they have Kyrie Irving. I love Kyrie Irving's game. I think he's gonna. I don't know. That high pick and roll is still an issue with the Bulls. I don't think they've ever figured out how to guard it, and I think the Cavaliers are going to run it a lot with Kyrie Irving coming off that pick with Kevin Love, and they can either kick it to Kevin Love for the three, or Kyrie Irving just takes them off the dribble. I don't see a situation where the Bulls can beat them. I think it'll be close. I think every game will be close. I just believe in LeBron, and I think they're going to beat us.
So you don't see a situation where the Bulls can beat LeBron, even though we've seen them do it many times.
Yeah, we beat them in one game in the season. We've proven we can do that. We haven't proved it through a 7-game series that we can beat them. But they've always been over talented and better than us, and every time we played them. I mean, but we haven't had our full assets of weapons.
Yeah, exactly. That is very.
Anytime we played them, we never had our full asset.
I don't expect J.R. Smith to go 8 for 17.
I'm sure he's gonna hit at least 4 a game. I mean, J.R. Smith shoots the ball. That's what he does. He has no conscience whatsoever. He's like Mirotic now. Mirotic doesn't have any conscience whatsoever about where he's shooting it from and where he's at and what the score is and what the shot clock is. He'll just shoot it.
It's like you said, like we like the Bulls have never been at full strength going against. I feel like the season series would have been split 2-2, but the very first time they played, it was a tight game until Derrick Rose stepped on Kyrie Irving's foot and rolled his ankle, and they sat him out the rest of the game, and Cleveland just pulled away.
Kyrie Irving, I think, is just a better player than Derrick Rose at this moment.
At this moment.
Yeah.
At this moment.
Yeah.
I give you that. At this moment.
And I think Kyrie Irving's like, I know we have Jimmy Butler to stop LeBron, but I just don't see any way we can stop Kyrie Irving. I just think he's going to be.
Say what you're going to say.
You have us beating them?
I have the Bulls in the finals.
I respect that. Yeah. I respect that.
I'm not doing it because I like the Bulls. I'm not doing it because I'm in favor of them. I feel the Bulls are going to beat the Cavs, and then I feel like they're going to beat Atlanta. Just
like my heart.
But saying that, I think whoever wins that series will go to the finals.
Like, exactly.
I think that's like those like. I feel like Atlanta almost did that on purpose. Like they lost that last game of the season kind of on purpose, so they wouldn't have to deal with
a second round matchup
with either of us,
Cleveland or Chicago.
Yeah, so like they let them duke it out. The Cavaliers let them beat each other up on each other. Because I think they know that they can't beat them in a playoff series.
But
either of us, the Bulls or Cleveland.
To be honest, this Cleveland-Chicago matchup is something everyone wants to see, and they were hoping to see it in the conference finals rather in the second round.
Like one of those two teams is going to be sent home early, and it's going to be sad that like we're not going to be able to see that in a finals. Like,
I feel like Atlanta could.
It conflicts me.
I just, for some reason, I cannot imagine Atlanta in the finals. Even though,
I can't. I can't. I really can't.
Yeah, it's like they're a great team, and I understand that. They play very well together. They had a very amazing record. They won a ton of games, but I just can't visualize them in the finals. Like, I don't see it.
Especially like how David said, like you can just focus in on one team. You can focus in on what they do and how many times they run. X amount of times they run the plays. Like you can zero in on that in the 7-game.
And not to mention you're gonna have rest. It's not like you're gonna be playing back to backs at any point. You're gonna get rest every single night. So you're gonna be well rested every night to play each other, and so you're gonna get the best out of your players every single night.
And if Chicago beats Cleveland and goes to play Atlanta in the conference finals, I don't like, to be honest. Like I like Jeff Teague. He's come a long way.
Mm-hmm.
He can't stop Derrick Rose.
I think he can. Jeff Teague is.
I think
Jeff Teague is a really good defender. He's underrated. He's underrated for what as a point guard. I know he made the All-Star game this season, but I feel like he doesn't get enough credit for how good he is, how important he is to that team.
For the first time this season.
Everybody talks about Al Horford and Paul Millsap, but like the person who makes that team go is probably Jeff Teague.
Damari.
Mark Carroll.
I'm just messing with you. But let me bring it back just for a split second. The Chicago-Cleveland matchup. I feel in the United Center they're going to turn up the heat in the UC. They're gonna it's gonna be 85 degrees in the United Center, and LeBron's gonna melt.
He gonna cramp up again.
I see it happening. So that's another I guess factor that could propel the Bulls into the the conference finals. And on the other side of the bracket, Golden State, Houston, conference finals. That's the matchup.
I have Golden State Spurs.
I have Golden State Spurs too, and
I have San Antonio beating them in 7.
The only reason I'm picking the Spurs, the only reason I'm picking them is because of the pedigree of Popovich. That's it.
That's a great pedigree.
Golden State should win. Probably could win. I just believe in Popovich, and I believe in the Big Three, and I believe in the Spurs. I
don't know what it is.
Nobody's no longer a member of the Big Three. Kawhi Leonard has certainly surpassed them.
No,
he's Big Four.
The original Big Three, the first ever real Big Three. Maybe not. I don't know. First Big Three, but
I wouldn't go first Big Three. There have been plenty of teams that have had their Big Three.
Okay, they coined it. They coined it.
That's not even the original.
Spurs kind of
exactly.
The Spurs kind of coined the phrase Big Three. Like it never really was a thing until the Spurs had their quote unquote Big Three.
Okay. I get your point.
It's like they got Manu. Yeah, 3 people are going to go to the Hall of Fame. Probably going to be first ballot Hall of Famers.
Manu is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
No, he's got a gold in the Olympics.
He got several golds. I think he has at least
because
2.
when they factor that stuff in when they talk about Hall of Fame, they talk about your Euro stuff and all the stuff you did in the NBA. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. There's no way he's not going to be.
I can see him not being a first ballot Hall of Fame.
That's insulting.
I don't care that I'm insulting. I don't see it. I don't think I think he kind of. It's been a while since we've seen Manu play at an elite level.
You don't think Manu Ginobili, the man who brought the Euro step to the NBA,
what's that? No,
is a first ballot Hall of Famer?
No, I'm not saying he won't be.
He's got 4 rings. How many 6? He won 6 Man of the Year 3 separate times.
I'm not voting him for first ballot.
Well, you don't have a vote, so.
and thankfully, neither do you two.
But I'm pretty sure we're not the only one.
What's his overall stats?
What do you mean?
I don't have it in front of me.
You don't have it in front of us.
I'm not going to project anything. I don't know.
Okay, but I don't think his points per game statistic is very high. I actually think it's very kind of...
Probably.
Probably, tops out. Maybe even 14.5 points a game.
Still a first ballot Hall of Famer?
That doesn't sound like a first ballot Hall of Famer to me.
His credentials
There's been plenty of
players there.
Well, there's been Robert. Oh, okay, well, Robert Ory's probably going to be in the Hall.
No, he's not.
You don't think so?
No. Just because he won 7 rings doesn't mean he's going to go to the Hall of Fame.
Okay, so he's won twice as many rings, roughly, as Ginobili.
You're comparing Robert Ory with
a 7-time champion.
Who actually won, the Spurs actually won the ring because of Robert
Yes, because
Ory.
of that shot.
A lot of teams won rings because of Robert Ory.
And that shot.
Big Shot Bob was his name, okay? He was named Big Shot Bob because he hit big shots in big moments.
So you're absolutely dismissing the idea of Robert Ory being in the Hall of Fame, yet he has twice as many championships as Ginobili.
His career
maybe
scoring,
slightly less points than him.
His career scoring average is in the single digits. He's not going to the Hall of Fame.
But he also has high rebound numbers.
Just because he hits some big shots at big moments doesn't make you an automatic Hall of Famer.
So just because Ginobili... his scoring digits probably aren't in the single digits, but they're not that high. They're probably 14 if I had to speculate. 14, 15 maybe. You think those are Hall of Fame numbers? You think those are Hall of Fame credentials?
I still think
he won 4 rings that... Okay, didn't he play with David Robinson? Didn't he play with...
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't. He wasn't around for that. Okay, then he played with...
Yes, he was.
The second one, maybe.
The one they beat the Nets.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Okay, and he played with Tim Duncan, Tony Parker throughout their prime. I'm not gonna say he rid them to glory because he actually had a decent impact in the finals, but so did Robert Ory, and Robert Ory won them a final. And I just don't see the consistency in your point. Is it because he won a EuroLeague championship
They-
that's going to propel him into a first ballot Hall of Fame?
They factor in what you do overseas when they talk about your Hall of Fame credentials.
Okay, they factor it in, but is that really what makes him a first ballot Hall of Famer?
I think it certainly helps his argument that he won a gold.
Sure.
I think it certainly helps. I certainly think it certainly helps that I think he won a EuroLeague MVP. I think I don't know for sure, so don't quote me or anything. But he was shredding it up in EuroLeague before he came over here, and he's been shredding it up here ever since he got here.
That implies that he is still shredding it up, and he certainly is not. He averages. He'll score 4 points a game for like an entire week, and then he'll have like a 18-point outing, and then he'll go back to averaging 7 at 8 points. That's not shredding it up by any means. And that doesn't sound like I'm.
It just sounds like
I'm just not budging. I don't see him being a first ballot Hall of Famer.
It just sounds like you hating.
You can use the term hating, but please.
Moving on.
I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. But, moving on to the series.
Moving on.
Spurs, Warriors. So are you picking the Warriors?
I'm going Warriors Houston actually. And then
yeah.
I have Golden State beating the Rockets 4-1.
I think if that actually does happen, I think Golden State could win easily. Because I just think I think James Harden's eventually going to run out of fuel.
I agree. The Rocket is going to run out of.
There's no way James Harden can continue to play like this every single night because he's got to have some more wear and tear in his body. He's been carrying that team for the entire season.
The key is the big man. I think more specifically Dwight Howard, but also Montehunis and Josh Smith and Terrence
done for the season.
Is he?
He's hurt. He's done.
Yeah. He's
oh
done for the
Lord,
season.
no! This is. Can I change my bracket? I'm a big Montehunis. I believe in him. I'm not saying he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, but I feel like he is an elite player. He's a 7-footer that can stretch the court.
Has been in the league how long?
This is second year. Second.
First ballot Hall of Famer. Yeah. Yeah. He's definitely injured. He's just not going to play at all in this series.
Oh, wait, in the playoffs?
Anything.
At all.
Yeah. He
you guys know the injury?
He hasn't played in like a month. He's got a back thing, I think.
That's never good.
And the same thing that teams could do to the Clippers with DeAndre Jordan, they can do it to Houston.
Smooth.
They can do it to Houston too. Not just Dwight Howard. You can do it to Josh Smith.
Yeah.
I agree, but I feel Clippers and Houston are gonna. I think that's gonna be a tight matchup.
I would kind of bank on Josh Smith hitting his free throws before
Dwight Howard.
I don't know. They're both.
Yeah, I mean, they're both bad. They're both bad. But if I would do that to Dwight Howard before I would do it to Josh Smith.
I would grab whoever's closer to me if I were them. But I feel like Golden State's gonna kind of run through Houston in the finals, and I actually have Atlanta losing to Chicago in the finals, which sets up a Golden State-Chicago finals matchup.
Man, I feel like if that happens, I think the Bulls can beat them.
I think they can. I'm not going to say they can't.
I think they could win. I think the Bulls could legitimately win a title if that happens. I think the big men. I think the big men of the Bulls pose a serious problem for Golden State.
That's a good.
But point. You could say that about Chicago in any series that they go in. Like the big,
especially Golden State.
Our big men pose a big problem.
First of all,
they have a 3 playing to 4. Draymond Green's kind of a 3.
They got Harrison Barnes too.
He's a 3.
Yeah, David Lee's very inconsistent. Maurice Bates is okay.
We legit have 4. We have 4 big men that 4 skilled big men.
Are you talking about Nikola, Gasol, Noah,
Gibson?
Gibson, okay.
I feel like
make sure you're not talking about Nazi.
No, and Nazi doesn't not
because of Andrew Bogut's injury history, how he's been injured a lot. You can't really
doesn't play a lot of minutes either.
Yeah, you can't really count on him being there. So I feel like
David Lee doesn't play that much either.
I feel like we can. I feel like our big men would give Golden State a huge problem because I don't think Draymond Green can guard Pau Gasol or Joakim Noah.
Draymond Green's a great perimeter defender.
Yeah, no, I'm not discounting that. He might win Defensive Player of the Year, potentially. He's in the conversation with DeAndre Jordan
and that's it.
I don't know who else. But
I mean, my Eastern Conference Finals, I have Cleveland, Atlanta. I have that going 7, but I have Cleveland winning because they simply don't have anyone that can stop LeBron. Like it's like that's
If they had
pretty much
DeMarie
it.
Carroll stifled LeBron when they played during the regular season.
If they had Tabo.
If they had Tabo, like it would help, but
DeMarie Carroll shuts down LeBron whenever they play this year. Whenever they play, DeMarie Carroll absolutely shut LeBron down. And Atlanta beat them during the regular season.
I have the Cavs beating the Wizards. I feel like LeBron in 6. I feel like LeBron owns Paul Pierce now. And
as opposed to with Paul Pierce's Boston days.
Yeah. I just don't think they.
Paul Pierce can't defend.
I just don't think.
I think
it'd be a good thing, a good step for the Wizards as a franchise to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. But I just don't think they have enough to beat the Wizards.
Or it would be a step for Randy Whitman.
Yeah.
Crazy Randy Whitman. Okay, so you're having. Is it?
I have a rematch of the 2007 Spurs Cavs.
I do too, and I have Spurs in 6. Because
I feel like if we're, it bothers me that it worked out this way because it's the least exciting finals matchup you could really have. Like it's the Spurs again and it's LeBron again.
Yeah.
It's like LeBron for the 5th year in a row is in the finals and the Spurs 3 years in a row.
But that's why I feel like it's gonna be something different because like remember when it was constantly Spurs Detroit in the finals and
it happened once, twice maybe at most.
Well, but you kept hearing them in like they got to the conference finals like back to back up until it was like 06 when.
Okay, since
I'm gonna hate it if it's LeBron and Spurs again.
Since 98, since 98, how many teams from the West have gone to the finals since 98? How many?
That have gone to the finals?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say.
Two.
Let me do. How many teams have gone to the finals and made it from the West?
Yeah.
All right, let me do the math. 17.
No. Like individual teams. Like
all different teams.
No, like the Spurs have gone 5 times, and so that's one team.
Won 5. They've won 5.
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying.
So how many have there been?
The Lakers were there. The Mavericks were there.
Since 98.
4 from the Western Conference have gone to the finals.
Who's the other team?
OKC.
Oh, OKC, yeah.
It's been the Lakers, Mavericks, Spurs, Oklahoma City, and that is it. From the Western Conference.
Well, I see a change in, I guess, the landscape of the finals. Times are changing. Basketball is changing. And you cannot beat Father Time. And the Spurs are going to learn that this year.
I want to I want the Spurs to get this one. I want Tim Duncan to retire. I want Tony Parker to retire. I want Montage. I want them all to go out on a high note.
I understand
and they can all just ride off into the sunset on their low horse.
I understand Father Time is defeated, but like I said, every year you hear that the Spurs are too old. They're this, they're that. Yeah.
Well, when will it be true?
Next season.
When they don't
next
win.
season.
When they don't win 50 games.
I think this is the last. I think this is the last go around for the Spurs. I think if they win it all again, they'll all retire. I think
I don't know that.
When they don't
it seems like they love playing.
When the Spurs don't win 50 games, that's when it's done because they've got the longest 50 win streak season.
You're building a straw man. With this 50 games thing, that doesn't matter. That doesn't.
How many straight seasons have they won 50 games?
That doesn't matter to me.
17 straight seasons they've won 50 games.
That doesn't matter to me because they have young players that can catapult them, such as Kawhi Leonard, that they can lean on.
Yes, they have young players, but who do they always rely on? Parker.
Who do they always
Ginobili,
rely on, or who are they relying on now?
They always rely on rely on the horses that got them there. The 3 horses that got them there.
Tony Parker's their best player.
Kawhi Leonard has played so much more, farther better than Tony Parker all season long.
No.
Yes,
he has
not. Look at the numbers.
Kawhi Leonard was injured.
Kawhi missed a significant amount of time.
Tony Parker missed a significant
Kawhi Leonard missed 20 games while he was injured with that wrist thing.
But look at the numbers.
I own them both in fantasy. Okay.
yeah. Well, I do FanDuel, and Kawhi Leonard is one of the most expensive.
Tony Parker didn't miss a lot of games because of that hamstring injury this season.
He missed a decent amount.
Not as many as Kawhi Leonard. I would put money on it.
Are we talking about a couple games? Because that doesn't really tell the whole story. But look at the points per game.
But once
look at the impact
Tony
on your
Parker
team.
once Tony Parker got over that hamstring injury and he started playing like Tony Parker,
He started killing.
he started killing it,
Yeah,
man.
16.5 and 7 assists. That's really killing. Kawhi Leonard was putting up 22, 24 a game, playing elite defense, which Tony Parker is not an elite defender.
All right, yeah, he's not an elite
He's
defender.
not an elite defender.
And Kawhi Leonard rebounds. He does get assists.
Tony
He
Parker
plays better defense.
Tony Parker makes the Spurs go. Without Tony Parker doing what Tony Parker does,
That's
none
the
of the
old
others.
mantra.
No,
That's
no, it's
the
still
old-
there.
it's-
It's still Tony
It's
Parker's
still Tony
team.
Parker's team.
That's Kawhi Leonard's team now.
When Tony Parker.
I think
leaves.
with Tony Parker, maybe next season it'll be quiet. It's still Tony Parker's team. Tony Parker is the most important player.
Then-
if Tony Parker isn't doing what Tony Parker does, the Spurs aren't who they are.
If that's the case, then they will burn this year relying on Tony Parker. They're going to lose in the first round if this truly is Tony Parker's team. Because the faster they realize that he's past his prime and Kawhi Leonard is the truth, the better off they'll be.
No, he's the claw. Paul Pierce is the truth.
He does have a claw.
He do.
Okay, so both you guys had the Spurs
I got
winning
the
it
Spurs
all.
winning the
Spurs
finals.
won the whole thing.
Yeah, and I have them all retiring.
Nothing will make me happier when the Spurs get knocked out in the first round.
But they're not because Clippers don't have enough to get past San Antonio.
They do have enough.
No, they don't.
They have. I think they have a lot more deeper talent than the Spurs.
So you're banking on JJ Redick hitting his threes. You're banking
Yes,
on
JJ
you're
Redick
bank-
will hit
you're
his
banking
threes.
on Matt
He's
Barnes
had a great
hitting
year.
his
JJ Redick will hit threes. That's what JJ Redick does.
Yeah,
But Danny Green can lock him down. Danny Green can guard him.
D Green's very inconsistent though.
Yeah, he is a little inconsistent, but he's a solid player. Danny Green.
Yeah. I'm not gonna shoot down Danny Green. I think Danny Green can play sometimes, and he
Yeah.
showed up in the playoff history. But like, I think JJ Redick is going to outplay Danny Green. And,
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think that's gonna happen, and I think Blake could beat up on Tim in the post. I really do. I think Blake can. He's gonna.
I feel like
Tim's a fossil at this point.
I feel like that could happen.
Nah.
And they don't have anybody that can bring out the Diao, maybe.
Boris Diaw.
Say what you want about Boris Diaw.
I will say a lot about Boris
Say what you
Diaw.
want.
He is an overweight. He's a short, overweight player
How's
that
he
plays
short?
the center player.
He's like 6'10", 6'11".
He's like 6'9" that plays center.
Okay, all jokes aside about Boris Diaw, he is a really good role player on that team, and he fits his role perfectly. He can handle the basketball a little bit. He can defend a little bit. He can shoot the three. And if Blake Griffin
Sounds like Hito Turkoglu.
If Blake Griffin has to go out and guard people,
He's not on steroids.
But when Blake Griffin doesn't really want to go guard people at the 3-point line, and I think that could be, I think it could wear him out on the defensive end as opposed to like then when he goes on the offensive end, he might not have as much in the
How
tank.
many minutes is Boris Diaw going to play?
He's probably gonna play like 25 minutes a game.
Well, does he play
Especially
that much?
with Thiago Splitter out, because he's not. He's out.
Is he out for
I
the
think he's
playoff?
gonna be back for the playoffs.
He might be back, but he's. I know for a fact. I don't think he's gonna be back this
So
round.
who starts at center then?
Thiago Splitter if he's healthy.
And if he's not healthy,
Baines probably.
or do they shift Duncan?
They
to the
shift
center?
Duncan down. They start DL.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't. They don't.
They
Because
do.
Drake Popovich doesn't disturb his rotation. He'll take somebody. He'll take somebody who don't really start or come off his bench and put insert him in the starting lineup. He'll have like Adrian Baines play, or Aaron Baines, whatever the hell his name is. And they'll have that guy. That guy will start.
What do they play that that rookie that they drafted, that very tall, that 6'8", like
Kyle
point guard?
Anderson?
Yeah.
No,
Does he never plays?
no, he doesn't play.
Does he play like McDermott minutes, or does
he
like
doesn't play.
He doesn't play.
even when it's a blowout, he doesn't play. They have like Corey Joseph in the game.
And Patty Mills and one of those two.
Patty Mills.
Patty Mills can shoot.
Yeah.
Patty Mills can ball.
That dude can ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we learned that last year, or a couple years ago, whenever that
We've
was.
known for a while about Patty Mills and his ability to hit threes.
About a while.
Austin Rivers is gonna shut him out.
Austin Rivers.
Austin Rivers. Austin Rivers is gonna outplay Patty Mills.
I think with
All
that,
right,
I
you are.
think
I'm not crazy.
I
Austin
think
Rivers
that
can
ends
play.
the. I think that's the end of the show. I think we can. I think we're done.
No,
now.
let's just do it. Let's just talk about MVP real quick. All right, who do you got?
Harden.
You know who I got.
I got Steph Curry.
I got Harden.
I've changed my vote. I was
Say
on
what
the
you want.
I was on the James Harden
got Harden?
bandwagon.
No, I've been on Steph Curry.
I was on the James Harden bandwagon all season, and then I saw Steph Curry I watched him recently in a game, and the way that guy just shoots the basketball, the game will be competitive, it'll be close, and then all of a sudden Steph Curry just goes into this zone, and the game will be just flat over. It's just wild to watch him. It's he doesn't even look like he's looking at the rim sometimes, and he's just shooting up threes from who knows where. He's got no conscience whatsoever. He's like pulling up in people's face.
Players like him, Harden, Westbrook, when they're in their zone, it's can't miss. It's like if you turn away, you're gonna miss something. It's like players like them. It's just like you want to watch. The
game at halftime. A couple of games I was watching, the games were real close, and then the game was just over. As soon as the third quarter started, Steph Curry just went into this. It was just game.
Not to mention in practice, Steph hit 77 straight threes, 94 out of 100 total.
And then he's the best player on the best team, not only offensively and defensively.
I'm
they
not
haven't been
knocking
done since the '96 Bulls.
I'm not knocking that at all. If he wins MVP, I'll give it up to him. I won't be upset at all.
TJ, let me ask you a question. What propels James Harden over Steph Curry in that head of yours?
The fact that without James Harden, Houston is not Houston's not a 2 seed. If without Harden, that team's nothing.
I agree.
The fact that he carried that team, the way that he carried that team. What was he, second in the league in scoring?
Yeah, he just got barely.
Barely.
Yeah.
So it's just
point something.
It's just without Harden, that team's nothing.
So for that reason, you think
reason alone
he should win MVP?
Yeah.
Because MVP means different things to different people. Sometimes
it's the most valuable player. He's the most valuable player. If you take Steph Curry off the Warriors, they're fine.
They're not fine. They're still a playoff. They're still a playoff team, but they're not this good.
They don't have this season, but they're fine.
They're not. They don't become the best offensive and defensive team without Steph Curry, because Steph Curry has elevated himself as a defender, and dude, the guy is just unconscious at times. Dude, it's just it's unbelievable to watch. Dude, the Warriors are the most exciting team to watch in the NBA. They're just so good to watch. All of a sudden you have Klay Thompson.
So they're up by 20, and then it's boring.
Yeah, it's like James Harden.
Steph Curry hasn't had to play in a lot of fourth quarters because they're just steamrolling teams. They just bury them in the third quarter. It's just over.
It's either him or Klay, or as a team they're just steamrolling. Because Klay can take over just as easy as Steph can.
But
James Harden doesn't have that on his team. James Harden doesn't have his Klay Thompson.
MVP means something different to you. It means different. It's something different to every single person. For you, it's how well do they impact their own individual team. But I look at it in more of a broader spectrum. What impact do they make on the league? I take in team success. I take in overall statistics. I take in just total domination, teams' records. It's a very combined stat for me, and I feel like Steph Curry overall just kind of tops the competition when you look at everything.
I'm very much in the
I know you
in
agree
the
with
realm.
TJ.
I agree with the MVP being. It should be the team player that is most important to his team, which is why I was on the bandwagon of James Harden all season. But then. It's something about Steph Curry, man. It's just something about the way he plays and the way what he's about.
I feel like you're looking through a wider scope now. You see the impact that he has on the league. Also, you're taking into account that his record. So that tells me you're not just looking at his team individually. He's the best offensive and best defensive team in the NBA.
When I normally get involved in this conversation, I usually am on the side of
what TJ's saying.
Yeah, but there's something about Steph Curry this particular season, dude, where he's just been.
It makes you open your eyes a little bit wider, doesn't it?
A little bit, yeah, I guess so.
I can't knock what Steph Curry's done. He's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
I'm not saying you're disrespecting him. That's not what we're. You don't have to defend your case.
Yeah.
About that. But say what you need to. But know that Steph Curry is going to hold the hardware at the end of the season.
I won't be upset at all if they give it to Steph Curry. I feel like it's literally a 2-person race now. It's either going to be Curry's or it's going to be Harden's.
I agree. I don't think that anybody else even has a claim to it. I think Russell Westbrook is completely out of the competition
and to be honest, it's kind of been that way.
I think AD will probably finish third now.
What about LeBron?
They're probably 4.
On Westbrook 5?
No, I think Russell Westbrook's case
Like-
for MVP is completely destroyed now that they didn't make the playoffs.
Exactly. And
I think
LeBron's
I would probably take CP3 even maybe over.
Oh, okay. Now we're
like LeBron's gonna finish fourth because like people just can't look past the fact that he took 2 weeks off.
I'm over that.
I'm tired of that conversation too.
But they still bring it up. They still bring it up.
It's Steph Curry's. Like there's no doubt. They're probably engraving Steph's name in it already.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But yeah, I think I have Golden State winning, and I have Steph Curry winning MVP. I'm kind of all Bay Area.
I got the Spurs at 6, and I got Steph Curry winning the MVP.
And hold on, how many games do you have the Spurs Warriors going?
6.
I have them going 7.
I feel like if the Spurs don't take it in 6, they'll lose in Game 7. So I just feel like logically they got to win it in 6.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. I have the Spurs winning the whole thing in 6, and James Harden's my MVP.
All right, everyone. Well, that has been our bracket for the NBA playoffs. We will be back next week. We're going to discuss the NBA and the NFL draft.
And one last thing, if you want to join our bracket, you have a couple hours to talk to Dave or Dave's friends. Throw in $10 and then you can be entered into our pool.
This is the Triangle signing out. Peace out.